Good morning, Stampers. Hi, I'm Donna Gray. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of these really nice Christmas shaker cards using the Thoughtful Branches stamp set and the Thoughtful Branches thinlits, and also some other stamps for the greetings and things as well. So it's got really nice glitter inside at the front, shaker card, and then finished inside with a nice little tree and a little saying. Okay, so let's get started. I'm actually going to do it in a different colour. I'll show you what we are going to be using in this. Okay, we're going to use the Oh What Fun stamp set. I'm going to use the Wishing You a Sweet Season and 'Tis the Season for the inside of the greeting. So that's the Oh What Fun stamp set. I'm also going to be using the Thoughtful Branches stamp set. In this, I'm going to be using the tree with the branches. I'm also going to be using the foliage of the tree to actually make some snow on the tree. I'm also going to be using this stamp here, which gives you some hills and things for a bit of contour. Also going to be using the small little branch trees with this stamp here, which will give me some snow on the trees as well. Yeah, out of that. And then I'm going to be using, this is the Beautiful Branches Thinlits dies. I'm going to be using the tree out of this one. I'm just going to add a little bit different onto the front compared to what I did with my first one. I'm also going to be using the embossing folder, which is called Softly Falling, and I'm actually going to use it. You can see it has lots of dots in one part and then it fades out to less dots. I'm actually going to be using it that way around, so it's like it's snow on the ground and snow still falling onto the ground. Okay, I'm also going to be using some gold embossing powder with some Versamark. And my trusty little stamp scrub with my stamping mist to clean my stamps. Okay, and you'll also need a die to cut the sentiment, the round sentiment here, and the square sentiment on the square frame on the front as well. Okay. So, the sizing of our cardstock that we're going to be using, I'm going to use cherry cobbler as my base. Now, the base of the card is 5 3/4 inches by 11 1/2 inches. Then you will also need, in Whisper White, you will need a 5 3/4 inch by 5 3/4 inch square, and that is to do the frame on the front. This frame here on the front. Okay, you will also need another piece of Whisper White, 5 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches. That's for the inside of the card. You will need a piece of acetate for the window section of our card. That's 5 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches. You will need a piece of cherry cobbler again, 2 inches by 2 1/2 inches. That's for our sentiment on the front. And you'll also need a piece of gold foil card, 3 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Okay, so let's get started with our base, which is 5 3/4 by 11 1/2. We're going to fold that in half to create the base of our card. Like so. And with our bone folder, get a really nice crease happening. Okay, so that's the base of our card. Now with our Versamark, we're going to start stamping our picture that goes on the front. So first of all, I'm going to be using the hills to create some hills that we can have our trees sitting on. Okay, so I'm going to do one lot of hills here, because I want one tree looking close at the front. Then I'm going to do 2 lots of hills further back up on the card, because I'm going to have some trees that look like they're further back in the distance. Okay, and another lot of hills just back there. Okay, and you can see, hopefully you can see in the video that you can see those hills. Now, while I've still got the Versamark, I'm going to do my large tree, so the branch of the tree I'm going to do. Whoa, bit of a fall there. Okay, so that big tree I'm going to sit right there. Hold it down, let it soak into the card. Okay, now with the little trees that I said, the 3 little trees, I'm going to ink that up with Versamark. Okay, I'm going to do 1 lot just there. And ink it up again with our Versamark. And we'll do another lot of trees a bit further back up there. Okay. Okay, so there we have a scene of some nice trees all happening. Put my lid back on my Versamark. Now's when you need a bit of scratch paper to go underneath. And we're going to get out our gold embossing powder. And we're going to sprinkle it all over. Now, if you haven't used Versamark before, Versamark is like a sticky type of ink. And when we put the powder over the top, the powder sticks to the ink. And then we use a heat gun to heat it up and melt the embossing powder. Okay, so as you can see, we have our nice little picture happening there. Okay, I'll put the rest of this embossing powder back in the container. Okay, now is where we bring our heat tool. Sorry, and excuse the noise of this because it will be a little bit noisy. I'm just going to get that off where I dropped that Versamark on there. Okay, now I always tend to let the heat gun heat up a bit first before you start doing it. Just helps save warping your card a little bit. Okay, so now as this heats, you will see it change in colour. There it goes. And we have the beautiful gold appearing. Heat embossing is a great thing to do on your cards. It just makes them look a lot more quality card making rather than it just raises the image up and yeah, it gives a good look. So what we do is we make sure we go all over our image and heat the whole lot. Make sure it's melted. You can actually go back later on if you feel like some of it's not melted, and you can do it again. Just got to be careful not to heat it too much that you end up burning your embossing powder. So we don't want to do that either. Okay, there you go. Now, our next step is with our 5 3/4 Whisper White, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. We're actually going to place that in our embossing folder. And I'll show you how we do that. Okay, open up the embossing folder, place it in there, and close it. Now, with your Big Shot machine, you will have, if you have the old style, which I still have the old style, you will have, as you can see, tab 1 and tab 2. Okay, so in our Big Shot machine, we're actually going to put a cutting plate on the bottom. We're leaving it open just to tab 1, so it's not as thick. We then place our embossing folder on there. We then place another cutting pad over the top, and that's how we run it through our Big Shot machine. Okay, after we've actually embossed that, then we're going to use a framelit that we cut out a square in that embossed piece as well, which I have done ahead, to create our frame like so. Now, with this frame's going to go over the top like this, and we're going to put a bit of acetate on the back of this frame, and that's going to start to create our shaker card. Okay, so once we've got our frame done, we're going to turn it over and we're going to run some glue all around the frame of, like the inside frame, so that we can stick our piece of acetate down. So I'm going to run some glue all the way around. Okay. And I'm also going to run a bit of Tombow around as well to make sure it's glued really, really well. Because if it's not glued really well, what you'll find is your glitter will tend to want to sneak through. So I'm also going to run a row of glue all the way around to make sure that this sticks really well. Just be careful when you do run your glue around that it doesn't come through onto your acetate sheet. So you've got to be very careful when you push it down that it doesn't ooze out. Okay, right. So I tend to push my fingers up. You can see it pushes the glue back up away from the acetate. Handy trick. Okay, so that has created our window. Okay, so now on the back of that, we're going to run some foam strips. Now, these foam strips are what's going to create your little pocket for your glitter to sit in. Okay, so we're going to try and get it as close as we can to our frame. As you can see, the closest we can to our frame. Make sure you butt each of your foam strips right up close beside the other, because if we don't, our glitter will escape. Okay, so same on this side, you have to butt it right up against the other so there's no gaps. Okay, and same goes for this bit, right up against there. And make sure you cut it right off that you can butt it right in up against that one there, like that. Okay, so that's created your box for your glitter to go in. Now, I'll just go and get some glitter. Okay, so I've got some nice chunky red glitter that I thought I might use for this project. So what you do is you sprinkle just a little bit of glitter to go in there. Okay? Now, I'm going to set that aside, but be careful not to spill it. Okay, and we'll finish off our scene. Okay, on our base card, I thought it would be quite nice to actually use some Versamark and put some snow on the trees. So the first one, this big tree here, the first stamp that we're going to use is the foliage that goes with this big one. So we're going to ink that up again with Versamark. Okay, we're going to stamp. You can see with this that you can see your trunk through. You just stamp over the top and line it up with your tree. Okay, that one. And then the other little stamp for the little trees, we're going to ink that up with our Versamark, line it up again, and stamp. Do that to each one of them, line it up, stamp. This tree here, line it up, stamp. This tree, line it up, stamp. This tree, line it up and stamp. This tree, line it up and stamp. Okay. Now, we'll bring our scratch paper back again. And with our white powder, now we're going to sprinkle over the top of where we've stamped the Versamark. And this will create a really nice snow effect. Okay, shake that off. As you can see, they look very nice and snowy. Okay, we'll put the embossing powder back into our container, bring the heat gun back in again, and we'll heat that up. Sorry for the noise again. As you'll see, our snow goes beautiful and white on our trees. This one here is quite nice to show. Beautiful white snow all over our trees. Okay, so what we're going to do now that we've embossed our snow on our trees, we're going to bring our window, our shadow box back in again and take the glue off, the backing paper. And I'm also going to run some glue along here. Just to make sure it sticks really well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn our base over and we're going to line it up and we're going to stick it on. Okay, sorry, I might have to put my head in the picture here. Okay, just like so. Make sure it sticks down really, really well. And voila, we have our shaker card. Okay, so they are quite easy to do. Okay, now with our 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch, now we're going to do our sentiment for the front. So we're going to use our Versamark again, and we're going to use our saying, wishing you a sweet season. We're going to ink that up with our Versamark. Also too, what helps us not get marks all over our thing is our little embossing buddy. Okay, so what that does is it stops any oil from our fingertips or anything like that going onto our cards, so it stops the embossing powder from actually sticking to where we don't want it to stick. So it will only stick to where we've actually embossed. Okay, and we're going to use our gold embossing powder again, sprinkle it on. Okay, put it on our Versamark. Okay, shake that off, and as you can see, it's stuck to our Versamark. Okay, put our embossing powder back into our container. Okay. Heat tool again. Melt the embossing powder again. As you can see there, it going gold and melting as it heats it up. Okay, now this is where we're going to use our little oval and sit our oval on, and we're going to run it through our Big Shot machine to cut out our sentiment. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now on this I'm going to pop up the sentiment as well. Just going to use some of the foam that I have. Normally I would use Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Just don't have them here with me at the moment. Okay. Take the backing paper off. And on the front. Okay. Now, our gold piece that we have, that is 3 3/4 by 3 inches. That's what we're going to cut our lovely branch tree out of. What did I do with it? Oh, there they are there. Okay, so so out of our beautiful branches, we're going to use this die here. Okay, now this piece is big enough that we can turn the die over so you have the cutting blades facing down. I'm going to run that through our Big Shot machine, and there you have it. Okay, so I'm actually going to glue this one just down the side here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is with my Tombow glue, I'm going to run it a little bit down the branches. Sorry, down the main stem of the tree. I can get my Tombow glue to work. There it is. Okay, so a few blobs down that side of the tree. And over this side so it can stick down. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to sit it there, let the glue take hold. A couple of minutes. Okay, now the bit that's overlapping and coming out the side, I'm just going to turn my card over and I'm going to trim that bit off, like so. It's just an added little bit that I thought I would put on the front. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay, now for inside. What we need is our piece that we had that is 5.5 by 5.5, so that gives us a border all the way around. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit more embossing again on this piece. Get our embossing buddy again. Okay, now, okay, so back with our nice big branch tree again and our Versamark. ink that up. And place that there. Okay. And with our 'Tis the Season, ink that up and stamp that there. Okay, lid back on the Versamark, bring in a bit of scratch paper again, gold embossing powder again, shake it off, which as you can see it's come up beautifully. A little bit on there that we need to get off. Okay, put our embossing powder back in. Okay, sorry for the noise again. Heat tool's going to come out again. As you can see, as the embossing powder melts, brings up our stamped image raised up and nice and shiny and gold. Okay. Okay. So now that we've done that, a little bit of Snail on the back. And open up the inside of our card, line it up that we get an even edge all the way around. Okay, so there you have it, another shaker card. So a couple of different cards, different colours, gives you different looks, very easy technique to do. Okay, hope you like it. Okay, please, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button underneath and feel free to subscribe to my video channel. I've also, in the drop down box below, I will put all the item numbers if you are looking forward to wanting to order this set. The branches set, the Thoughtful Branches, is only available until the end of this month, so we've only got about 4 more days while stocks last. So if you're lucky enough that you can get in and order this limited time set, but I will put the link to my online store and also the item numbers and the codes in the drop down box below. Please feel free, subscribe to my channel, help me get my videos out there, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.